super silk screen, like that, perfect. And we will be covering, that's reviewing, not covering. So today we're here at Super Silk Screen, and we'll be reviewing the K2 Uptowns. The K2 Uptowns are skates that are designed for the urban environment. Built like an aggressive skate, they have a sturdy cuff and a UFS mounting system. They are equipped with 243mm aluminum rockable frames, and they're set up with 80mm 85A wheels and ILQ 7 bearings. So when it comes to aesthetics, these do not fall short. They're beautifully designed, from the color scheme to the detail in the laces and the reflective elements, to the white toe guard, to the reflective element in the back that says K2. As I said before, it's a UFS mounting system, so you're level to the ground and you don't have that pitched forward feeling you would have with your regular rec skates. This skate is somewhere between an aggressive skate and a rec skate. It's built like an aggressive skate. It's the same cuff you would have on a K2 on naturals, and a UFS mounting system on the bottom. If you look at the bottom here, it's almost as if you have space for a sole plate, where the skates themselves have sole plates on them. But in reality, though you may get away with some grinds, the build material is not as tough as you would expect, and is probably not meant for grinding. But as you can see, I've done a fair amount of it here, and you can see it on the frame. I've damaged it in an attempt to grind. It's actually worse on the right foot. You can see it on the right foot here. I've gotten away with some grinding, which I probably shouldn't have, and it's slowly eating me at the boot. The frames, you see the bolts are getting damaged right here from me grinding, even though you're not supposed to. So when you initially get these skates, they might feel a bit weird. It's totally related to the cuff. The cuff is very, very, very stiff, and because of this, some people, when they initially get them, they have negative reviews because you don't have a lot of forward flex, and that kind of compromises your stride and changes the way you skate. I found that the way to combat this is to actually lace them very loose on the top and tight on the bottom, because as you can see, normally you would have a very floppy liner, but because the liner is built into the skate, it's very stiff. So if you were to tie them high, that stiffness restricts forward flex. As far as sizing goes, this is a very, very wide skate. There was no break-in period. I had none of the usual foot pains, that you usually find like around here, on the cuff, or around your toes. It's very forgiving to the odd-shaped feet and the wide feet, so I definitely recommend it for that. Let's talk about this frame. It is very, very special and very different. So this frame, you only need one hex key to take off the axles. So I'm very happy about that, because a lot of skates, surprisingly still, you require two hex keys to remove the axles, but in this case you don't. It may seem like you need one, but because this is like a square, it's actually not a hex, and it doesn't spin, it's fixed, so don't worry about that. So you only need one hex key on this side. So these are the wheels it came with. They were originally 80mm. They're probably somewhere like in the mid 70s by now. The bearings were, they did their job. They were good. They've been through some rain, and as you can see, they still have a good spin. I think one of them might be broken, like inside, like a bearing might be loose, but like I have used these, so yeah, they're definitely good. They're 85A. I don't remember their profile honestly, but it wasn't particularly special. It was the usual wheel profile. But as far as wear goes, like I said, these are the original wheels that came on the skates. I do lots of power sliding. I skate the city, I stop a lot, I go a lot, and they've held up pretty well. So what makes this skate very special is that it's rockable. It's a rockable frame. And the way they achieve this is with these inserts that go between the frame and the axle. If you look carefully, you can rotate these inserts to make your wheels stick out in any direction, just a few millimeters. Right now I actually have them rockered up, so all my wheels are slightly closer to the boot. And I don't know if this reflects some more stability, but from what I understand, the closer your boot is to the ground, the more stability you have. But you could essentially create, like a freestyle rocker, a slalom rocker, where you have the outside wheels up and the inside wheels sticking out down to the ground more. Or when I did initially get them, I did the quote unquote natural rocker, and I tried to stick out the third wheel and it worked. It's only by a few millimeters. I don't know the exact amount, but it's definitely enough to feel. And I made the third wheel stick out, which gave me a pivot point. This is a 243 millimeter frame with 80 millimeters, so you don't really need to do that because they're pretty nimble as is. And I found that when I did that natural rocker third wheel down, it kind of made them unstable for high speeds. But yeah, you can literally rocker all these wheels in a different direction or the same. I don't want to do the math, but the amounts of setups you can do are just... You know what the math is? I don't know what the math is. It's a
combination.
It's a lot. So you can rocker each one of these. You have 4 choices of which direction to rocker them, and then you can rocker all 4 wheels in a different sequence, in a different order. Or yeah, it's just a lot. But it definitely gives you that ability to adjust to your style. You can have a banana rocker, you can have a natural rocker, or I don't know, whatever you want. You gotta explore. This has a 6 millimeter axle, and we usually have 8 millimeter axles. So the axle's on the smaller side. So if you don't have the spacer for 6 millimeters, you're gonna have to buy it. I usually have different wheel setups. So I'll have several wheels that I use for different situations. And I used to like, switching wheels from one skate to another, but now I have to have, this 6 millimeter axle in here to make up the difference, because I usually have the 8, which is the spacer you can't see. It's just between the bearings, and then it's the axle goes between. But here you have the 6 millimeter spacer, which actually comes out and touches the bearings. I don't know if you know what I'm referring to, but yeah. So I don't know why they had to do that. Maybe it's directly related to this rockering system they have here, but it is a nuisance because, like I said, I have several skates, and sometimes I swap the wheels based on situations. But now every time I swap, I do have to change the axle, which is a little more work than I wanted to. So like I said before, this skate uses a UFS mounting system. So I actually use these skates with the ground control. No, I use them with the Kaiser arrows, and I use those frames for a while on these skates. So they're UFS. You can just put any aggressive skate on them. And like I said, the skate almost has a sole plate, but honestly, it's not really one. It's a lot smaller. It's kind of hard to latch on, and the material it's made of is definitely softer, so you'll grind away at the boot too fast. I don't recommend it. But I had the Kaiser arrows on these, and I was definitely doing a lot of stalls on them. Mostly stalls, not really grinds. Cause like I said initially, it's a really tall boot, so you do have to learn how to lace them properly. Otherwise, you will have flexing issues. You won't be able to flex forward at all, which isn't good for jumps, or inhibits your ability to go low. So that's definitely an issue. I think it might be related to, like I said, the stiffness of the liner itself, which is fixed. It's a non-removable liner, but the boot is just really it's well built, but that's almost a bad thing, because then you have no forward flex. And also, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like this is normally the hinge slightly higher. It's kind of low, and I don't know, this sole plate part kind of confuses me, but maybe you guys can see it. It seems pretty low. I feel like it's normally somewhere around here. And like I said before, there's no forward flex on this cuff. Normally, you could push the cuff forward, and you see some give to it forward and back. Yeah, there's none of that, which is kind of weird. So you definitely have to lace them. I don't know can't really show you here. You definitely want to put them on, get some forward lean on them, and then once you have that forward flex you want, tighten them, and then buckle them. Because otherwise, you won't be able to flex forward at all. It's going to feel weird. You're going to feel really upright. But once you learn how to lace them and buckle them properly, it's not as bad as some people put it out to be. They're very wide, so yeah, if you have a wide foot, definitely go for this. I haven't noticed, them being too loose, but sometimes when I do crossovers, I do feel my foot shifting a little inside the boot. Not too much, but at higher speeds I could feel my foot moving a little on the inside because they're very, very wide. They're tight back here, like around the ankle and the 45, they're tight. But I could feel around the toe area, around the toe box, my foot moving left and right a little. It's not enough to make me not like the skates, but I can definitely feel it sometimes. But if you have a wide foot, like I said before, this is definitely the go-to. It has your standard buckle on top. I've had no issues with it. It's pretty protected. Like I said, it's almost like an aggressive skate. So if you were to jump and miss, this piece right here prevents you from knocking off the buckle, because I've had some skates that weren't really designed for tricks, and then I would try to do a trick and then I'd miss, and then I would just knock off the buckle itself. So it's protected from that, even from falls. That's not the case on this side, but you're usually not hitting things on this side. But I did find that, as now that they're probably a few hundred miles in of use, that this actually loosens. So I'll skate after a while, and I usually use it like 3 buckles in, 3 little snaps, and then I'll skate, and then I'll notice that it hasn't come out, but it did lose one, like it slid in a little. I don't know what's causing it. Maybe it's just getting old. Maybe maybe my feet are hitting occasionally and it's allowing this to slide during the pressure, but I do find that this is sliding. Not enough to it doesn't completely come out, never that, I'm never in danger. But I do have to occasionally stop to tighten them again. But the 45-degree strap is very well built. It usually they just get really frayed and start falling apart, but this is held up really well. It's nice and thick. It has the K2 Uptown little logo there, and I like this touch here where they have this metal tip on the end. It looks really nice. It's beat up now, but originally, these skates were beautiful in the beginning. But yeah, it's very well built. 45-degree strap. Can't complain about it. The laces it came with, they're flat laces. They're pretty good. I can't say anything particular about them. I do like the fact that, like I said, they had a reflective element to them, which may have worn off with time. But yeah, so I can't complain about that. Oh, now I remembered one of the problems. So these skates will feel like aggressive skates, but they don't have all the protection you usually have. This is a soft boot, so the only thing that's hard on it is the cuff and the bottom. But all this here on the side, even the toe, is soft. So there were times where I was trying to do a grind or something, or doing a jump, and I kicked the floor, and you definitely feel the floor. So just remember, though, they look like aggressive boots. This might look like it's stiff, but it's, I don't know if you can see it, it's not. So just careful with that. Don't go too crazy on them. They are just urban skates, a little bit of jumping, going fast. They're not well armored, but if they did have plastic there or anything like that, they'd probably get weighed down, and then they would lose their whole, the commuting aspect of them would definitely suffer because they'd be too heavy. But yeah, just careful. If you kick the sidewalk or the side, it's just really soft. The only thing hard on this skate is the cuff and the bottom. I may have covered all the basics. Sorry if I missed something, but definitely if you have any questions, you can put them in the comments, and I'll try to respond as fast as possible. But that's it for my K2 reviews. These are the 20, maybe 18 Uptowns. I don't think these are out yet, actually. If you go to any major retailers, I don't think they carry these yet. I think they'll be available next year. I think the skates are essentially the same. It's just, some aesthetic differences. The current model, different color scheme. It's just a plain aluminum frame, and some glow-in-the-dark elements, actually, which they ditched on this model. It had glow-in-the-dark wheels. Actually, it still has glow-in-the-dark, I guess like toe cover. I don't know what this is, but this was glow-in-the-dark. But in this new model, they ditched that for just reflective elements. Let me know if you like this review. I'm gonna try to do more talking, more commenting, more reviews on products and skates. And please click subscribe and share, and definitely give it a thumbs up. Thanks a lot, and I hope you join us next time.